All right, here we are with the X4 over here on the left, and we got the G6 over here on the right with the corresponding boxes with the logos right there, just so you don't get confused. So I want to show you the difference between the two side by side so you can kind of get a size difference. First thing we'll talk about here is the G6. Now this was the first guy that I bought. As you can see, it's a little beat up and worn out. For the most part, this thing's worked flawlessly other than one issue, which I'll state in a little bit. It's a small form factor. It literally fits in the palm of your hand. That is the pro of this. It's very portable. You can bring this with you on the go if you're going to a friend's house or if you're just traveling with your Switch. Yes, this works for the Switch as well, so you can amplify your headsets for your Switch while you're on like a road trip or something. Maybe you're someone who uses a lot of hotels and use your Switch for that, or your console. Maybe you bring your console around. For whatever reason you're traveling and you need something portable, this is the guy. This thing is crazy powerful, and I'm gonna say after using this for what, a month now, I've probably had this guy. The G6 is definitely a little more powerful than this guy right here. As far as the amplified audio, the audio gets a lot louder. So the perk of the G6 over this device, the X4, this thing will power any headset for the most part that you have. I have the DT990 Pro, and this thing powers it flawlessly. This thing really opened my eyes to what sound quality difference really is. For my whole life, I've used gaming headsets and whatnot, or basic earbuds obviously with, you know, my CD player or whatnot, or iPod. This is night and day. If you get any type of amp and DAC system, you're gonna notice a big difference, and this was the first device that really opened my eyes to that. And it's the only device I had so far. It did everything I needed it to do, so I found no need to upgrade. There was only one issue, which I'll talk about now, that made me want to get this guy, because I did like the SoundBlaster platform, so I kind of wanted to stay within the ecosystem. The issue I had with this, and I don't know what caused it, I've seen it on Reddit before, only a few people talked about it. For whatever reason, when I have this hooked up, the audio would just stop working. It would still be working in the PC, so when I would look at my dials, it would still be picking up the audio, but for whatever reason, my audio will not come out onto my headset. I don't know what that was, but for whatever reason, whenever I would unplug this and then plug it back in, the audio for the most part would click back. I've had times where I had to do it 2 or 3 times and it would work. Now, I've extensively searched it. I tried to find out if it was a driver issue. Now this thing, like I said, I've had this for a few years now, so I could never figure out what it was, and the only thing that could resolve it was unplugging it and plugging it back in. For the longest, I didn't know what it was. I was doing all types of crazy stuff, and it really came down to just plugging it out and plugging it back in. That was really the only solution I came up with, and it drove me insane. And there would be weeks where it would be just fine. It would work just fine, no issues, would forget all about it. Another day out of nowhere, I'll just be playing and then my audio would just cut out, and I would be like, huh, what's going on? It's so quiet. Know if it was on the PC side, I didn't know if it was on this side, I didn't know if my headsets were messed up. Nonetheless, that was the issue I had. It is out there. It wasn't just me. I thought maybe I got a lemon, maybe something was wrong with it. I didn't want to risk buying another one of these and having the same problem. That's the main reason why I ended up getting this guy right here. We'll talk about in a minute. First thing I want to talk about is the build here. As you can see on the front, you have your ports for your headphone jack, and then you also have the mic port here. I never utilize this, so I can't really speak on it. That is there if you want that. I have the Wave 3 if you guys are interested in what mic I use. I love it. Go check that video. I'll have it linked down below. The Wave 3 and the software is amazing. Gotta check that out. On the left here, you'll see you have different modes here that you can activate or deactivate. So you have scout mode, so you can hear, you know, things real clearly, footsteps and stuff like that. I wasn't a big fan of it. It does make a difference, but it sounded a little like hollow for me, a little tinny for me. Wasn't really the sound effect that I liked. Now this one really amplifies the sound. This is your high or low gain, and then over here you will be able to see whether you're having your mic or your headset plugged in. LED indicator. On the back side here, you do have a line in optical and a line out optical as well with your USB micro. Now this is obviously another negative. I can speak on the device. Everything should be USB-C by now. Get nothing on the other side. It's just some logoing, nothing special. Comes to like a peak here on the edges, and then on the bottom you do get a rubber, which is nice, little rubber platform here which says SoundBlaster on the bottom. I ended up going with the X4 SoundBlaster. Now they have an X3. This is the latest version, obviously X4. Now there is some controversy on if the X3 is better than the X4. I'm not going to get into that, but this is the X4, and to be honest, just to be straight up, this thing's been working just fine. I really like that I don't have to unplug it and replug it back in. We'll talk about the ports here. Obviously, you're gonna get a lot more ports than you're gonna get on the G6. So if you're someone who's looking for more ports, this would be the option you would want. This is more so for people who have like a surround sound, so you can put your speakers in there. You got the front, side, rear, and sub. You got your optical line in, you got your optical out, and then the great granddaddy of all upgrades, the USB-C. As you can see, the microphone port, I don't really have any input because I don't use that, so but that's there if you need it. Again, check out my video on the Wave 3 and the headphone port. Here you'll notice compared to the other one, these are more spaced out, so it is a bigger device. Again, like I said, this is very compact, fits in the palm of my hand. This thing is massive, but it looks a little bit nicer. If you want something kind of sitting on your desk looking a little more stylish, this is obviously going to do a better job looking nicer on your desk with this big knob to control the audios, and then you got your easy button right here as well. As far as like being stationary and sitting on your desk, I like this one personally over the G6. The downfall between this device and this device that I'll say right off the jump, they both work wonderfully. Obviously, it's going to vary between the shapes. Feature wise, they're pretty much the same. The software is different. That's another thing that I'm not a big fan of. This one uses a different software than, for whatever reason, the G6. The G6, I did like the software. It had a lot more going on and it just looked a lot nicer. It was more user friendly, but for the most part, you can utilize the same stuff in the software this provides. For whatever reason, it's different. I don't know. I wish this got a little bit louder. Now this thing, pun intended, blasts. This I had to max out all the way. Everything on my computer maxed out, but this I would have about 75, 80. This one I gotta rock 100%, and I still wish it was a little bit louder. So that kind of gives you a little idea on how much louder this thing can get, hopefully. Again, like I spoke about, if you're looking for something a little more stationary, a little more stylish looking, again, it is more bulkier, so some people might not like that, but it looks a lot nicer. You get these chrome finishes on the edge here with the dial, and then on the dial itself, so you get that nice finish. Has a gunmetal look to it, unlike the X3, which is black. Buttons on this one, you do get the audio balance button here for your mic if you use that. Again, I don't use it, so not too familiar with that. You get your direct modes. Now the one thing with this device, you can change a lot of modes with the button combos. Easy access to all your modes that you want. The dial is very accessible and easy to use, unlike the G6 where it's on the front. Again, obviously this one's a little bit easier on your desk if you're turning up the volume. Looks nicer. Both the finishes, colorways are similar for the most part. This one has a little bit darker tint. You do get great audio quality from what I read, as far as like clear audio, whatnot. Again, I'm not familiar with it. I haven't used it, so if you do utilize this, you are going to get some great audio quality out of it. Again, they both power the DT990 Pros just fine. This one obviously a little bit louder, but for the most part, they both get the job done. As far as which one's for who, and what you're looking for, if you're someone who has a desktop and you're not, you know, running a laptop or a console that's moving maybe to different rooms, or a switch that you want to use it for, then I would recommend this guy. Obviously, it's more stationary, looks a little bit more stylish. Everything's very simple and right there for you. This one's a little more compact. Like I said, fits in the palm of your hand, very compact. Definitely doesn't look ugly. It has a nice little compact look to it. This does have LED lights right here, so that's a cool little touch. Again, if you're someone looking for something more portable, and this thing will power anything. You don't have to worry about if this is gonna power your headsets. This will literally power anything I've looked up. This thing is crazy powerful and will get crazy loud. And all in one device. If I didn't have my issues, I would recommend this one. Build quality isn't bad. The only issue I had, this ended up popping up and I had to super glue it, so that's why you see a little glue right here. Other than that, I mean, the build quality holds up. Hope and pray you don't have the same issues. This thing will outperform more than you expect, so I can highly recommend this one. Other than those issues and not being USB-C, drives me insane. I hope they come out with another one if they haven't already with a USB-C port, but for the most part, this is gonna power your headsets, other than probably some crazy ones. I'm not a soundologist, so I don't know everything about audio. If I were to choose one as an all device, bass, I would have to go with the G6. It still shocks me how much louder this guy gets over this one, but nonetheless, it still performs exactly how I want it. It looks nice. The build quality is great. It definitely powers my headset more than enough I need. I just got spoiled with the G6 because this thing gets crazy loud. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you guys like that, be sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button for more content. If you guys have any questions as far as what device you should get over what, and some questions I didn't answer or whatnot, be sure to get down in the comment section and let me know. I'll try my best to answer those. But that's gonna do it for this video. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Y'all stay nerdy. Peace.